93, 93, 93. Do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. All right. 93, Keenan. Just turn this down a little bit. All right, we in here. So, I don't want to make this too long. Just want to make a couple points here. And get the fuck out of here, right? Get the fuck on, right? The title of this video is called Why We Are Kept Ignorant to the Knowledge of Ourselves. It's very simple, but it can become very complex because there are many different pieces moving around the board, right? The chessboard of life. So let's get straight to it. For example, let's just deal with holidays. We can start there. So if you have grew up in a Christian society, then you are familiar with, you can say, Christian holidays. If you grew up in a Islamic religion, then you're familiar with Islamic holidays. If you grew up in a Jewish religion, a Jewish society, then you are familiar with Jewish holidays, so on and so forth. We think that none of these things have anything to do with each other, right? What's up, El Ray? Meaning a Muslim doesn't celebrate Christmas. A Christian doesn't celebrate Eid, which is a Muslim holiday. And then Muslims don't celebrate Jewish holidays, and Christians don't celebrate Jewish holidays, right? So we separate ourselves because we feel they do their thing over there, they do their thing over there, they do their thing over there, and it's not really too much mixing. It's not really too many people coming over there to see what's going on over here, to see what's going on over there. Everybody just kind of stays in their lane, right? Everybody just stays where they are comfortable because they're only looking at things on a surface level. Meaning, if you think Christmas is really about the birthday of Jesus Christ, if you think Easter is really about the resurrection of the Christ, if you really think Halloween is about demonic spirits and pagan spirits, then you're completely lost like everybody else. If you really think it's just that surface level, and that's what makes us different than these people, that's what makes us different than those people, because that's already how the world thinks, right? We separate ourselves because we think we're doing the right thing and someone else is not. Because we don't know the origins, right? We think the origins, again, start in mythology. Because that's where really all this shit comes from. It comes from mythology. It comes from the Bible. It comes from the Quran. It comes from the Torah. So on and so forth, right? And because we have not decoded these things, we take these things as literal. Like you have people that feel like Jesus was a literal being. You have people that feel Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, was a literal being. You have people that feel these biblical characters were literal people. Right? So if you believe these things to be literal, right, it separates us. Because if I believe these things are happening literally or have happened literally, and then the next person doesn't, then that separates me from them because they may not take this shit literally. They may take it metaphorically. So if one person is taking something metaphorically and I'm taking it literally, then I'm separated from that person because I'm taking it literally and they're not. So we're automatically separated. We separate ourselves by religion, by creed, by culture, by color, by race. Any reason we have to separate ourselves, to distinguish ourselves, we utilize it. 93, Kelly. 93, salute to you. Much love and respect to the goddess. All right? We separate ourselves because we don't do the proper research of who and what we are. So I'm not just speaking about reading a book. I'm speaking about, do you know the part you play in Halloween? Do you know what you have to do with Christmas? Do you know what you have to do with Easter? And most people don't have an answer to that because they're celebrating something outside of themselves. That's the whole point. If it's all external and not internal, then it's easy to separate. Because it's based on, again, mythology. And if you are taking this mythology literally, then we're automatically separated because we're not on the same page. We're not on the same level. And we never can be. Because there's some people that believe in their heart that all this stuff is real, and there's some people that believe in their heart that all this is metaphorical. So how can we ever be on the same page? What's up, Vishahan? 93, 93. How can we ever be on the same page if we're looking at the same stories, the same mythologies from various levels, which is they're supposed to be looked at from various levels, right? So instead of coming together and seeing the perspective of others, we completely shun them. That's why we have religions which separates people. So we're in a country with all these people with different religions, different ways of life, different cultures, and like no one knows how to get along. Because we all feel we're just extra special. Everybody is the fucking chosen one, right? This is why I don't really get into all that shit, right? I can tell you all day that you're the chosen one, you're the chosen people, you're here to do something important. But isn't everybody saying that? Isn't that everybody's perspective? Who the fuck is a part of a religion and they don't see themselves as the chosen people? Just think about it. Whether you're a Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Jewish, or anything else, who's walking around feeling like they are not the chosen people? Who's walking around like, okay, yeah, I'm the cursed race, I'm the cursed creed, I'm the cursed one? Who the fuck is walking around with that perspective? Versus everybody feeling like they're the chosen, they're the greatest, they're the gods, they're the goddesses. Everybody wants to fucking feel special. Why? Because we're taking these things literally. So when I say the knowledge of self, right? If I'm talking about the knowledge of self, that means the unification of everything. Because self is all. Self is not this and not that. Self is all of it. So the knowledge of self means all of it. Not some of it, not just the part that you agree with, not just the part that you're comfortable with, all of it. God and devil. We're quick to accept God, but we hate on the devil. Like the devil gives a fuck about you. We feel like we're so important that God gives a fuck or the devil gives a fuck. Sorry, I gotta be the one to say it. I don't think God gives a fuck about us or the devil gives a, like, personally. I don't think nobody's looking over us from above or below and looking and just trying to observe what the fuck we're doing. That actually gives a fuck about what we're doing. I don't think that shit, like, why? If you were God and you created 6 billion people, however many people are on the planet, are you individually watching every person and documenting what they do? Why would you care? Why is it that important to you? Like, you don't got other shit to tend to. Why would you care? As a creator, are you tending to every single creation that you produce? Like, it's just that important. Again, to me, that does not fit within the frame of being a creator. Let me explain to you what I mean. If you consider yourself a creator, excuse me, if you consider yourself a creator, that means it is your duty to create. Not just one thing, but many things. As a creator is always creating things. So why would you be concerned when your duty is to constantly produce more creations? Why would you be so fixated on what already exists if you are a creator and your duty is to keep creating? For example, the universe constantly expands. So that means new things are being constantly added to the equation. So if new things are constantly being added to the equation in the expanding universe, excuse me, if new things are constantly being added to an expanding universe, why would I be so occupied on what already exists? As a artist, why would you be so concerned about your previous art that you have already created? Why would you, like, again, it's already done. You're moving on to the next creation. You're not thinking about what you already created and you're giving all your energy into previous creations because you are constantly moving forward because you must continue to expand your universe. As a creator, it is your duty to constantly expand your universe. What's up, Dank Wizard? What already exists is self-sustaining. So why would God or devil be so concerned with what's already occurring instead of expansion? The thing is, it doesn't make sense, but everybody wants to feel special, so we create. As creators ourselves, we create scenarios that make us feel special. Is this not why people become saved? I'm saved. What does that mean? Why do we think people do these things? Would you join a religion and not feel special? Just really, do you really think people are joining religions just to not feel special? Just to not feel like they're the chosen? I'm just a regular motherfucker and this doesn't change anything. Who's walking around with this mentality? Exactly. I'm saved. I'm born again. Why would that even matter if you don't feel like you're special? If you feel like I'm just another piece of sand in a grand beach, I'm just a speckle of water. in a grand ocean, then who gives a fuck if you're saved or born again, baptized or not? Why does it fucking matter? It only matters because we want to feel like we're better than the next person. The intentions are not good. That's why I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Literally. I don't take none of that shit literally because I'm like, people just want to feel like they're better than the next person. If I say I'm God and then someone else isn't, that just makes me feel like I'm better than the next person. But it really doesn't make me better than the next person at the same time. I can feel like I'm special or chosen all I want, but that doesn't mean that I'm actually different. We are more similar than we are different. We have more similarities than differences, but we make the differences so big and we make it and we push it all out of proportion to the point where we cause wars against each other. There have been religious wars called holy wars where people are literally killing each other because of a difference of opinion. What are we doing? It still goes on to this day. Because you worship this book and they worship another book, now we gotta kill each other because of a disagreement. Why are we even disagreeing if we know that all this is metaphorical to begin with? What is there to disagree about? If it's all metaphors, if it's all symbolism, what are we disagreeing about? To the point where we gotta take each other's life. We gotta take each other's freedom. We gotta make each other slaves. Because that's all we've been doing collectively. I'm not talking about individually, just collectively. When we look at the history of the world, if we look at what's been going on for the last 6,000 years, since the times of Egypt, we've been just destroying each other, suppressing each other. And whatever differences we can use, we utilize it. We've been doing this, right? You can say this is just human nature at this point. Isn't really an individual thing. This is more like human nature. That's why I don't consider myself human. You shouldn't consider yourself human because what the fuck is a human? You can say a human, somewhat, a colored man, colored woman. But I don't care about none of that shit. Honestly, I don't care about none of that shit. Anything that separates me from the next person to the point where I feel better about myself because someone else isn't what I am, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? It's like when I get on here. When I get on here, when I get on YouTube, I'm talking to everyone. I'm not just talking to a certain type of person. Like 93 isn't just about one type of person. It's about whoever resonates. And even if you don't resonate, you can still learn something because I'm like, even if you don't resonate, it's like, that's fine. I'm not about to hate you. I'm not about to bring any ill to you. I'm not about to have any negative thoughts about you if you disagree. I'm like, everybody has the freedom to do what they want. I'm not concerned with any of that stuff, right? But some reason we're overly concerned with how other people think, how other people feel, other people's opinions. Why are we overly concerned? Why do you give a fuck about the next person? Let me give you the reason why. Why do we care so much? Because we don't know who we are. If you knew who you was, then you will also know who the next person was. How can you see yourself as a God but not your neighbor? How are you extra divine but not your family? What are we doing here? Right? Now, of course, there are different levels of consciousness, right? You may be more conscious than your neighbor. You may be more conscious than your family members. Your level of consciousness may be enhanced, but the only reason it may be enhanced is because you can see the common denominator between all of it. So even if you are more advanced in your consciousness, that actually should make you more liberated. That should make you more open, right? Because you know better. You shouldn't be walking around this planet like a fucking animal. Because that's what the fuck animals do. Why are we treating human civilization like the animal kingdom? Because that's what we call it. We exist in a concrete jungle. That's why do we call it that? Why do we exist in a concrete jungle? Why are we comparing ourselves to fucking animals and doing what animals do? Because this is what animals do. They separate themselves from people that are not different than them. How do we know? Put a cat in a room with another cat and they don't know each other. One or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to fuck with each other or they won't. They're going to be enemies or friends. Right? There is no conversation. They're going to smell each other. They're going to get a whiff of each other's essence, and that's all they need. Either they about to go ham on each other or they cool. But this is what animals do. But you're like, why the fuck are we doing that? Why do we do that? Oh, what's their religion? What's their way of life? What do they believe in? And based on the answer now, it's like either we cool or we not. If I'm a Christian, like, oh, you're a Christian, oh, we cool now. But if I'm a Christian and you're a Muslim, we can't fuck with each other. What is that about? That's what animals do, right? So what are we doing this for? Ignorance. But why are we ignorant? Why is it comfortable? But I guess that's the whole point, right? That's why they say ignorance is bliss. Right? That's the whole premise of ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss because it makes it okay to be animalistic. It makes it okay to behave like a fucking savage. We literally, we speak about that as if it's cool, right? People want to be savages. They want to be ghouls. They want to be goblins. They want to be demons. Why do we want to be literally the lowest thing you can fucking be instead of the highest thing you can be, which is all embracing? Meaning if I'm going to help somebody, I'm not going to help somebody based on what they believe in. I'm just going to help another conscious being. Whatever they believe in should not matter. But let me get into the point of this, right? Again, I'm not going to take up too much time. Let me get to the point of what I'm saying. Because I spoke about the holidays, right? All of these holidays are based on cosmic events. This is the point I'm making. Every holiday is based on a cosmic event. Christmas, Easter, Eid, Halloween, Thanksgiving, all these things, there is cosmic events occurring that we know nothing about because we're not studying the stars. Because we're so focused on human beings. 93 Tangela. We are so focused on other human beings that we're not paying attention to what's going on above us. How do we know? Because if I ask you what's going on in the stars right now, there is a significant event occurring in the stars as I speak right now. And I guarantee the average person does not even comprehend what's really going on above you and how it is affecting what's around us, the earth. You have no idea what's going on in the stars and how it's affecting the earth right now. We don't even know. But we damn sure know how we're different than the next person. We know our religion. We know our way of life. But when I tell you to look up and explain to me what's going on up there and how it affects you down here, it's like, now it's a fucking problem. Now it's like we don't know what the fuck to do with that, right? Because if you took that information and you applied it, you're like, okay, well, damn. If this is going on in the stars, if this is going on externally, that means it affects everybody. Meaning you don't even have to celebrate Halloween, for example, but it still affects you. You don't have to celebrate Christmas. It still affects you. You don't have to celebrate Easter. It still affects you. You don't have to celebrate it. It still affects you. You don't have to celebrate Jewish holidays, but they still affects you. We are all affected by all of these holidays because they are based on cosmic events. So if every holiday is based on a cosmic event, why are we not considering these cosmic events? Why are we overly concerned with stories and not getting into the core of what the story represents, which is a cosmic event? All of these stories and these Bibles and these Qurans and these Torahs are cosmic events that have an effect on our consciousness. So when a person feels like they're in the holiday spirit, there's a reason for that. It ain't because it's a fucking holiday and okay, well, October 31st, I'm gonna feel a certain way because it's just October 31st. No, it's based on what is occurring. What happens on October 31st? What happens Thanksgiving? What happens Christmas? Cosmically. The average person don't know. They don't know. However, they know all about who their enemies are, though. We know about our enemies. We know about the people that don't like us. We know about the people that talk shit about us. We know about the people that pretend to fuck with us, but they really don't. We know all about that. We know all about this human chess. We know all about the drama. We know all about the gossip. We know all about all this, the news. We know all about politics. We know about all this shit. We know every little detail about whatever it is that you choose to be into. We know all these other details. But when it comes to what really matters, we're fucking ignorant. We don't know what the fuck to do. We don't know what's going on. When it comes to shit that really matters, why are we overly concerned with shit that don't matter? Meaning, if you think, just like right now, elections are going on. People are becoming or going into power and people are leaving power, right? This is an election time. People are gaining power, people are losing power. If you go to the news right now, all they're going to be talking about is these fucking elections. All they're going to be talking about is these fucking politics. Rarely will you find cosmic events. This is what's going on in the stars right now. Why that information is suppressed? Like you're not going to see that on the front page of a newspaper. But you will see the bullshit on the front page of the newspaper. You will see the gossip. You will see the bullshit in the tabloids. But you're not gonna. Why is that the only thing we don't know about is what's actually occurring in the stars? We know about everything else. We know about all this earthly shit, but we don't know about the stars. We don't know what happens when these stars dance with each other. We don't know. But we're so knowledgeable. We're so sure about who we are and who everybody else is. We got all that down packed. But when it comes to what actually matters, what actually will advance your consciousness, we don't know nothing about. When is the last time you saw a Christian celebrating with Muslims? When is the last time you saw a Muslim celebrating with Christians? They don't. They don't fuck with each other. They may do business with each other. They may make money with each other. But when it comes to, when it comes to religious time, they don't fuck with each other. They're not trying to educate each other. They're not trying to understand each other because they're just too different. And that's the reason why religion was created in the first place, to separate us from the truth. We are separated from the truth because we're overly concerned with everything else like it really matters. It doesn't. We should be trying to see what unites us instead of what divides us. But we're so inclined to divide ourselves from everybody else. That's just like our natural instinct. Because they put you on an animalistic level. That's where they want us to be. They want us to be like fucking savages, like fucking animals. Oh, who are you? Like, again, like, it don't matter if it's a gang or it's politics. If I'm a Democrat and you're a Republican, I'm already looking at you strange. If I'm a Crip and you're a Blood, I'm already looking at you strange. Before I even know who you are, how you think as a person, how big is your heart, I don't know none of that. But just because you're on the opposite side of the scale, I'm already looking at you crazy. I'm already looking at you sideways. And I have no idea who you are as a person. And don't even care to know who you are as a person because I know what you represent. And that's the only thing that I even care about. I don't even take the time out to even get to know who the fuck is behind this flag. Who the fuck is behind this political assessment? What makes you a Democrat? What makes you a Republican? Why did you decide to go on that journey? Because maybe you may say something that resonates with me. I'm like, okay. It doesn't mean that I have to agree, but at least I understand you so that I don't make you an enemy unnecessarily. But so many people we're just so ready to beef with each other, right? We're instantly ready to beef. We're instantly ready to fight, to kill, to be fucking savages instantly. Just look around. You say something crazy to somebody, they're ready to fucking blow your face off over words, over a disagreement. We're ready to literally take each other's life, your whole life gone, because of a disagreement. It's happening every single day. People are dying for foolishness. I'm not even talking about dying for a reason. People are dying for no fucking reason. People are beefing for no reason because they really don't have anything else to do. People are bored. People are confused. People are ignorant. And when you have those ingredients, it creates bliss. You see how that works? It's like negative ingredients create an oasis. If you have enough negative energy, it creates an oasis. Ignorance is bliss is the same. It's the same dynamic of why two negatives produce a positive. It's the same dynamic. Negative 2 plus negative 2 gives you a positive 4. When two negatives merge, it creates a positive. Ignorance, negativity, creates bliss, positivity. What's up, Ty? Salute to you. We don't see this, right? We're not even thinking mathematically. See, I'm probably the first person to even reveal that shit. But that's because my mind is elsewhere. I'm always in the goddamn stars trying to figure this shit out. Like, I don't have enemies. I'm not beefing with nobody. I don't even give a fuck enough. I don't care enough. I don't. This shit is like, I'm just not concerned. Like, I don't care what anybody is. It's like, I'm just not concerned at all. I'm thinking about what's actually occurring. I'm like, what's actually going on, so that I can get a perspective as to what I am observing from everybody, not just one person, but everybody, because these celestial events affect us all. We are all affected by the same cosmic events that we know nothing about because we're not paying attention. We're just overly concerned with what's going on in the world or what's going on in these cell phones and social media and all these things, right? We're either overly concerned with social media or what's actually occurring in the world. We're just overly concerned with everything that really doesn't even matter at the end of the day, right? Who gives a fuck what anybody thinks at the end of it all? If we're not advancing our consciousness, if we're being led into lower dimensions without guidance. Because I'm not saying it's anything wrong with being in lower dimensions, clip-offic, hell. If that's where you want to be, that's actually not the issue. But if you don't have a guide, if you don't have a navigator, then you're going to get lost and you're going to get fucked up. It's like being in the hood. If you come into the hood and you don't have a guide or somebody, the gatekeeper, right? If you don't go through a gatekeeper, then people are going to look at you crazy like, what the fuck are you doing around here? Right? If you don't get permission from a certain gatekeeper, then you are going to have problems in certain places. Right? Certain places you can't go without permission. But if you have that permission, you good. But if you don't have that permission, it's like you're putting your own self in danger. But we know about all that, right? I guarantee you probably don't where to go and where not to go in the city you live in. You know who to fuck with and who not to fuck with. See, again, we know all this by heart. We have no problems with all that. Okay, go over here, but don't go over there. Fuck with that person. Don't fuck with that. We know all that, right? That's just automatic. It's just already in our subconscious. But the moment we begin to question, okay, well, what the fuck does this have to do with celestial events? Oh, we don't know nothing about that, though. Why are these particular people occupying this particular location? We don't know. We don't know nothing about that, though. Why are the Bloods occupying this location and not that location? Why do the Crips occupy this location and not that location? Why do the Latin Kings occupy this location and not that location? Why do Republicans have certain states and not other states? Why do Democrats have these states and not these states? We see all this shit, but we don't know why. Why are certain states Democratic, other states Republican? Why are certain territories run by this gang and not that gang? But we're not even thinking about that because we're just looking at what is. Well, this is a Democratic state, this is a Republican state, this is that, this is their territory, this is their territory. We know this, but we don't know why. Because we're not paying attention to the celestial events. We don't know what star constellations rule over certain areas and how that affects that particular area. But again, I'm the only one that be speaking about the spirits of particular cities. We don't even know that spirits rule over these cities. And that affects what occurs in that city based on the spirit that runs that city. So if you don't even know about the spirit that runs your city, how do you understand the events that occur in your city if you don't understand the power behind your city? You don't even understand the spirit that runs your city. How are you going to navigate? Just being overly concerned with all these fucking people and their fucking opinions that don't even matter. Why we're overly concerned with things that don't matter and we have no idea about the things that actually do matter. But that's what makes people sheep. That's what makes people sheep. Right? Yes, if you multiply two negative numbers, you get a positive sum. Exactly. That's why we can always use mathematics to make sense of things. You can always use mathematics to make sense of things. That's why I'm always talking about astrology. That's why I'm always talking about numerology. This is all based on mathematics. That's why I don't consider myself spiritual. I'm like, I'm not a spiritual person. If you look at what a spiritual person is, I'm like, well, the average spiritual person isn't overly concerned with mathematics. Now, are they? The average spiritual person that you know, because you know somebody's spiritual, are they overly concerned with mathematical calculations? No. Are they overly concerned with celestial events? No. But are they overly concerned with what's going on in their atmosphere, what the spirit is telling them, and all this stuff? Yes. That means more to them than anything that I'm fucking talking about. Which is why I'm like, I don't resonate with that shit. I'm like, I need to separate myself from the word completely. I'm like, I'm not spiritual because I'm not concerned with what spiritual people are concerned with. But if I say I'm an occultist, I'm like, okay, well, that's different. That's why the last video, well, the video before last, I said occultism is not a form of spirituality. That's just to help you understand the difference. If you are not overly concerned with mathematical calculations, which can be shown and proven, then what are we doing here? Why are we overly concerned with things we can't prove? See, I can prove to you that there are celestial events happening. All I gotta do is bring up a fucking natal chart. All I gotta do is use astrology and I can show you what's going on in the stars. I don't have to be subjective. I don't have to, well, this is what I think is going on. Fuck what I think. What can I show you? What can I prove to you? Because if I can't show and prove it to you, then I'm just running my fucking mouth. But who is overly concerned with showing and proving? Who are these spiritual people that's just overly concerned with showing and proving what's actually going on instead of giving their personal subjective opinion about what's going on? Everybody got these subjective opinions, but when it's as, okay, show and prove that. So that I can understand it, because I may not have done the research you done, but you should be able to at least show me so that I can understand. Again, I may not agree. I may come to a completely different conclusion, but point me to the source. Point me to the reference. Where are the sources? Where are the references? Because if you have no source, you have no reference, then what are we doing? Why are we comfortable not having sources, not having references, not relying on mathematics when we know for sure that mathematics is the language of the universe? We already know that, right? If we know mathematics is a language of the universe, then what the fuck are we doing not being mathematical scientists? What are we doing? But we claim to be so fucking spiritual, but we don't even speak the language of the universe. What type of fucking sense does this make? How are we spiritual, but we don't speak the language of the universe? So the universe will speak to you. It's going to be through mathematics, meaning your ability to decode what these numbers mean. See, everybody see all these numbers though. Everybody see all these synchronistic numbers: 555, 666, 333. We're seeing all the numbers, but I'm like, well, what does that mean? What does that mean for you? What does that mean for us? What does that mean internally? What does it mean externally? And why am I hearing all these different answers? Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that. What does it mean? Because clearly, if you feel the universe is speaking to you through numbers, then why do you not know numerology then? Why do you not know gematria? If numbers are the language of the universe, why do you not know numerology and gematria? So that you can understand what the fuck is being said to you. What message is being communicated to you? Because if you don't know what the references are, then how do you know? Oh, I saw 333, and I'm gonna look at it as an angel number. It's not a fucking angel number. This is the language of the universe. This is beyond some type of angelic number. So how do you not speak the language of the universe but consider yourself spiritual? What are we doing? But that's why I'm here, right? I'm just here to help you understand this shit. Like, what are we doing? Let's not waste time in things that are not based in mathematics. Because if we're not dealing with the nature and the language of the universe, then what are we doing? We're making everything personal and subjective, and that's what makes people hate and kill one another. Right? If I think I'm right and you're wrong, then now we're at a disagreement. Now we're at odds. Now we're beefing. Right? I think intellectual gatekeeping in science culture contributes to spiritualists not wanting to learn mathematics. Also, I blame pop astrology for people not wanting to go deeper in cosmic events. Many different things at play that can turn a spiritual person away from this. So we know intellectual gatekeeping. You're right. Because all of these so-called spiritual leaders or religious leaders, they lead us astray. They're not leading you to the source. Because they're not teaching numerology and they're not teaching gematria. So how can you even clarify or confirm anything that they're even saying if there's no references? That's why I always make sure, let me give you a reference. Let me base it in mathematics. Let's talk about these planets and these cosmic events, which I can show you and prove it to you. You can prove it for yourself. You can download the app on your phone and see it for yourself. Right? Everybody's walking around with these iPhones, with these Androids, but we don't even use the proper apps to even discover what the fuck is actually going on. So what are we doing? Everybody has access to the same information, but for whatever reason, we don't want to use it. But yeah, intellectual gatekeeping, because we're trusting gatekeepers who don't even want to reveal the secrets to you. Because everybody's a part of this so-called secret society. Everybody want to utilize this masonry, right? Everybody want to speak in code. Everybody want to be symbolic, which leads you no fucking where. What are we doing with Masonic codes and, okay, well, only a certain people understand certain shit? For what? What do we need to do that for? We do that because, again, it's ignorance. If I know something you don't, then that gives me power over you. If I know all these secrets and I don't reveal it to you, and my reasoning for not revealing it to you is because I feel like, oh, you're not ready for it. Or I feel like, oh, they're going to misuse it. This is their excuses why they want to keep things secret. Why people join societies. Right? But yeah, they actually that's why they have to take an oath. That's where I'm getting at here. This is why people take oath. These gatekeepers have to take oaths of silence. These gatekeepers have to take oaths of silence. So they really can't reveal anything to you because they took an oath to not reveal anything. And they're not going to break their oath. Because if they break their oath, they're putting themselves in danger. So if you break your oath and you're a part of the society and you begin to reveal things, you're putting yourself at danger. That gives the people within your society a reason to exile you. Now you become exiled. And nobody wants that, right? So that's why these societies have been built, to keep everybody else away from the truth. You got to go through paywalls. You gotta, you gotta go through secret societies. You gotta go through all this extra shit, which separates you from everybody else. Because you can only speak about certain things amongst certain people. If you are a Mason, you can only speak to a fellow Mason about certain things. You can't speak to somebody outside of the craft. Certain things you are not able to reveal. You should not reveal, or it will be a problem. If you are caught revealing things, it will be a fucking problem. Right? What are the best apps for astrology, Western and Vedic? It's not really about a best app. It's not really about a best app because they all do the same goddamn thing. It's all calculations. They all do the same thing. They all do the same thing. So it ain't even about a best one. It's just about which one resonates for you. But they all do the same thing. They're all showing you cosmic events. They're all going to show you what's going on in the stars. So again, it really ain't about a best. Because there's all type of apps, there's all type of software out here. Some of it is free, some of it is paid for. So I wouldn't say, okay, well, you need to get this particular app, you need to get this particular software. That may be different than what you're seeking. But they're all going to show the same thing at the end of the day. They're all going to show the same thing. So it don't matter if I have one app, somebody else has another one, we should still be looking at the same picture. Because if we're not looking at the same picture, then there's no way for us to come to an agreement. But again, it doesn't matter what app you use, you should still see the same thing. That's what it's really about. If I have one app, you have another app, and we see the same thing, then who cares about what app I'm using or what app you're using? If we're seeing the same picture, all right? So that's what it is. Again, I'm not going to take up too much time here. I just wanted to explain why ignorance is bliss. While we are kept away from the knowledge of self, we got to go through all this extra shit, and it's gonna remain like that because there's so many people already a part of it. It will take a new type of people to break the spell. People like me, people like you. We are the ones that will break the spell, right? Because we're not a part of societies. I'm not a part of a fucking secret society. But if I speak to people, they would think I am. Like, oh, what fucking society are you a part of? You sound like you're a part of, but I'm not. So I can reveal whatever the fuck I want to reveal. You can reveal whatever the fuck you want to reveal. Because you're not a part of this bullshit, right? That's why we become the people. The first people to go a whole different way. Because everybody before us was going in a whole different direction, trying to keep the game away from us. That's why I keep saying I respect the elders that held it down, that passed down the game, but most of these elders did not. Most of these elders took the secrets to the grave and never taught you what you needed to know to advance yourself. So there's no reason to respect these type of people because they kept the secrets. They didn't reveal it. They didn't pass the game down. So only reason I make these videos, again, I'm not making these videos for any other reason than to pass the game down. That's it. Because that's my only duty, really. I can be the most knowledgeable person, but if I'm not revealing the secrets, if I'm not passing the game down, then when I die, it all ends. So at least if I die, it's not even, I guess, it's not even an if. When the day comes, at least I can say I revealed it all. I left no stone unturned. I revealed it all. So then the next person can take it and take it to the next level. This is not the end. This is only the beginning. All right, love is a law, love under will. 93.